I'm Mel Brennan. I am a lead organizer for TEDx Baltimore. I have the privilege of serving about 17,000 men, women, and families as district executive for the Y of Central Maryland in this city. And I'm here tonight because I want to take action such that my son, MG, my daughter, Waverly, and my 11-day-old Kai. Yes, I worked very hard to get that done. My wife would say, or not. So that they are looking back on 2011 as not as a time where we continued intergenerational tyranny over them, but as the year where we actually did ignite Baltimore and the region. So this is maybe part two of what you just heard. Baltimore right here and right now. I want to talk about a national citizen renaissance that we can start. Note, not civics. We're not talking about civics class. I'm going to talk a little bit about why we're not talking about civics class. We're going to try to delve through an emergent definition of citizen and citizenship. We're going to talk about why Baltimore is really the only place to begin this and what you can do starting tonight. Jay Leno informs us directly, in particular Jay's segment, Jaywalking. Those who saw can recall, and those who didn't see can imagine. Jay confronts people with an ad hoc, on-the-spot civics quiz. And we can sympathize with a U.S. history teacher who, upon being asked who wrote the Star-Spangled Banner, screams out, "Key Scott, Key Scott!" When, of course, the answer is, and he did it where? Correct, correct. But why isn't civics persuasive? Why doesn't it stick with us, even if you're a history teacher? Because it's peripheral recitation. We're not talking about civics. We're talking about citizenship. We're talking about living out authentic and actionable information. So this informs our first definition, our first cut at this idea of what citizens are. People possessed of the authentic and actionable information needed to make the nation work, right? But is information enough? Is an environment where information is possible enough? Well, let's test this. Take the challenge. Stand up if and only if you can name your representatives, local to global, and what they did today. 0.5%, right? What does that tell us? If citizenship is tied to how we're connected to our representatives, if citizenship in the modern era has to be tied to real-time understanding of what they did today, and no one here, for the most part, can do that, with 500 channels and nothing on, what do we need to think about? Maybe the mediascape that's offered up to us is not enough. Maybe we need to do something else to ensure the idea of authentic and actionable information. And I would argue that that requires us to be about the ongoing willingness to do 5 things. It's how we got here, and it's how we'll extend this nation with robust citizens and robust citizenship. What are those 5 things? What are you prepared to go into the street for? What are you prepared to go to the courthouse for? The jail, the hospital. What are you prepared to die for? It's how you got the country we got today. It's how we're all sitting here together today. We're going to talk a little bit about why Baltimore is an avatar for this manifest truth, right? Why Baltimore has a history of people being about the ongoing willingness to do the 5 things to make America work. A quick aside, that these pictures that you're about to see are from the Baltimore book, for the most part, by Linda Shopes, available at any bookstore that gives a damn about the city. But only Baltimore has the history, proximity, and culture to launch a citizen renaissance, right? These are, again, from the Baltimore book. We didn't get reasonable wages and a proper work day, and we didn't stop lynching because the anti-lynch ferry came down, but because people got into the street, right? Call your attention to Mary Mataloza and Emma Marley, who represent this idea of that these pictures were taken in front of the courthouse. When the Hartford Tailoring Company was trying to marginalize workers and put them out in the street, they stormed that company and went to jail for it. When was the last time Morgan State students went to jail, right? It might be here, right? Standing fast for Baltimore's segregated Northwood Theater in 1963. They're all in jail together to make that difference. If you don't know William Moore, you need to know William Moore, William Lewis Moore. born in Binghamton, New York, but spent most of his life in Baltimore as a postman. He made the mailman's journey 3 times down to the South to deliver letters demanding integration from governors in state capitals, shot in the head for that effort. And then another Baltimorean, Westmore. When we consider Westmore, then let us not forget the other W. Moore, right? William Moore, who created the conditions that allowed Westmore to make the decisions to make his life work. So it extends our definition. Citizens, then, are people possessed of the willingness that we just talked about to forge the conditions replete with authentic and actionable information needed to make our nation work. What can you do tonight? Begin by Googling Open Baltimore Beta. It's the government 2.0 project that begins to talk about the information that governments are willing to part with in partnership, and then consider citizenlife.com, where we are building a virtual street for you to get in to live out your citizenship and to grow a citizen renaissance in Baltimore. Thank you.